It's that time of the year again when everyone overdresses in jackets, sweatpants, and beanies. But there's always that one guy who didn't bring mittens. There's party after party till the year runs out, and by the end of it you're so stuffed and overwhelmed by sensory overload that you just can't wait for January 2nd just to complain it isn't that time of year again. It's Christmas time. During the holidays, everyone has their own unique way of celebrating, like opening presents on Christmas Eve instead of waiting till morning. That one aunt that insists everyone loves her baking, but we all throw it out behind her back when she isn't looking. And the annual 24/7 A Christmas Story marathon running in circles on TV somewhere in the house. This year, I've decided to reapproach this classic film to determine whether it's worthy of holding this coveted reputation. See, I've only seen the film now a whole 3 times, often just watching small scenes randomly while I was flipping through the channels. A Christmas Story was released in theaters on November 18th, 1983, which baffles me because I really thought this was one of those 70s movies, and that's why it has such a dated look. Also, Star Wars, the first one, Episode 4, came out in 79, which makes this film 4 years younger than that. This film is also based on a 1966 book, In God We Trust, Others Pay Cash, written by Gene Shepard, who will also voice adult Ralphie. And it has 3 sequels, some TV spin-offs, making this the beginning of a franchise known as the Parker Family Saga. All this information blew my mind. I knew this film was big, but not a whole franchise big. The film begins around Christmas time in Chicago with our main protagonist, Ralphie Parker, a 9-year-old boy in 1940 who wants the new Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas, but knows dreadfully that his parents won't get it for him. So throughout the film, he continuously schemes on how to make this wish materialize. Being the oldest, he has a little brother, Randy, and his mother and father, who are only known as Mrs. Parker and Old Man Parker. This is the story of how this family makes it to Christmas Day. Ralphie has 2 friends, but Ralphie himself isn't much of a friend. When one triple dog dares the other into licking a frozen pole only to get his tongue stuck, Ralphie bails on him and lies to the class and the teacher about it. Also, when the school bully picks on his friends, he'd rather run away than deal with the brat head on. He even at one point lies about where he's heard profanity to his mother, who calls his friend's mom just to hear her beat the poor kid over the phone. Ralphie is an asshole.
Come back!
But the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, for Old Man Parker is actually the reason why Ralphie is like this. Like father, like son. Mr. Parker is an older man who's got one hell of a temper with his furnace, and a passion for exotic lamps. Mrs. Parker is a younger woman who loves her children and knows how to care for them and nurture them. She also loves pissing her husband off and laughs at him in his demise. And the youngest one of the family, Randy. Randy is over-coddled by his mother and behaves like a sheltered baby. There are many situations the family runs into along the way, and they all begin to get crazier and crazier as we move about them. It is a family comedy film, and at first I wasn't really feeling it until I noticed the acting chops on Old Man Parker's actor, the late Darren McGavin, who does a terrific job at emoting his confusion and disgust towards others' actions around him. But when the family car has a flat tire and Ralphie goes out to help his dad, he screws up and accidentally tosses the nuts and bolts in the air and says this.
Fudge.
Only I didn't say fudge.
This was the moment I was dying from this movie. It's such a real reaction to a small child dropping an F-bomb. Well, maybe not the soap in the mouth bit, but I was grounded for saying things like this, and I could relate to Ralphie and his family better. There's a classic situation where Old Man Parker wins his major reward from the local newspaper, which has to be brought in by cargo freight. Inside the box, he finds its prized possession, a scandalous leg lamp with fishnet stockings and a beautiful lampshade to pair with it. The old man then purposely props it in front of the window of the house for all the neighbors to see. Mrs. Parker hates the whole thing, and eventually later she finds it mysteriously broken, which devastates her husband in a hilarious moment. And arguably the most famous scene in the whole film, when Ralphie realizes getting through to his mother about the rifle wasn't working, he turns to the one man he knows who has the power to get it done. Santa. One night at the mall, Ralphie and his family go see Santa and his elves at the North Pole, which is a large indoor slide. Every kid on the way up the stairs is absolutely frightened by this imposter of a Santa and screams all the way down the slide. Once Ralphie gets to the top, he panics and tells Santa the wrong thing he wants for Christmas. And before he knows it, he's climbing back up the slide to tell Santa he wants the Red Ryder BB gun. Like all adults Ralphie has asked before, Santa says the famous line.
I should do an experiment with my laser rifle.
You
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
4 out of 5 stars. Sorry, I've got no complaints about this film. It's not perfect, but it's very funny, loving, and a precious film to have. Though Ralphie is struggling with the world of being only 9 years old, you see how he's got a good family to back him up. There are beautiful moments when mom or dad could have been meaner or indifferent, but actually helped Ralphie out and kept the family moving forward. Ralphie and his shenanigans never feel unrealistic. All of these events could totally happen to any kid during the holiday season. Like I said before, there are many situations the family finds themselves in and have a fun time getting out of them, which helps add not just narrative but character development that helps bring these characters to life on screen. Some of the very cool moments I found was the Wizard of Oz characters running around the mall because the movie would have been released 1 year before, and Mickey Mouse even makes a cameo when Ralphie and his brother sit in front of the radio to listen to their show because that's what kids did before television. I can very much understand now why this is a Christmas classic and does deserve its place among other classics.
La la la. Try again.